Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Wednesday, January 29th, and I was trying to think, what do I want to read next? And I think it's time to tackle the Arc of a Scythe trilogy, which I mentioned in like my end of the year 2019 videos. I gave you guys a couple of video ideas that I had. And one of them, sorry, I'm chewing gum. I shouldn't be doing that. One of the ideas I had was to reread Scythe and Thunderhead to move on to the newly released, I think it released in November, The Toll. I absolutely loved the first two books. Such a unique concept, great characters, great pacing, shocking, twisting, crazy moments. Yeah, it's just, it's such a good story so far. So I can't wait to move on to The Toll, but I know how normal readers do it when they're invested in a trilogy or something like that, and there's years in between the release dates. They read these leading up to the release date of the new book. How I do it is I let it release, I let it sit on my shelf forever. I forget about everything that I've read because I don't read them up to release date, and I wait until they're all out and then I reread them. So the first book in the trilogy is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. The next book is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. And the third and final book in the trilogy is The Toll by Neil Shusterman. If you look at the size of the books, they increasingly get bigger. This is the first book, this is the second book, and this is the third book. So we're in for a little bit of a journey, but I am hoping to read these fairly quickly since I've already read the first and second books. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything, like this isn't a book that I think that, oh, it could have been cut down 100 pages, 50 pages or whatever. I think the entire ride is worth it. It does meander a little bit, but not in a boring, dragged out way, if that makes sense. So I've already started rereading Scythe. I am currently on page 40, so I barely read anything. That's just what I read last night before bed. But yeah, I'm gonna be reading this and vlogging this just like I did my Girl of Fire and Thorns trilogy by Ray Carson. And I will just tell you all of my thoughts as I read them and what I think and all of the things. It's Friday night, it's January 31st. And it's almost 5 p.m. and I wanted to update you on my Arc of the Scythe reading vlog. I'm currently on page, of course it doesn't have a page number, 55 of Scythe. Okay, here comes the embarrassing thing. Yesterday and the day before, I didn't read anything because I was binging The Circle on Netflix. It's got like 12 episodes and they're like 45 to 50 minutes a piece. And yeah, I binged it in 2 days. So I was on the couch watching The Circle instead of reading. And I think the first night that I started watching, I only watched 4 or 5 episodes. And I was up until midnight and I had to work the next day, of course. So that wasn't good. And then I went to work and then I came home and then I binged the rest. So I went to bed at a decent time last night. I think I did actually read a few pages last night. But yeah, so I feel like we're just now actually starting the reading portion. There's other shows that I definitely want to binge. I'm so nervous to start the second season of You because I know I've heard amazing things about the second season and I know I'll just want to binge it. So I'm going to try to finish this. I was thinking about rewatching the first season also, even though I was like, I liked it, but I'm just so excited about the second season. But I think I can make it last longer by like watching the first season, re-watching the first season, and then watching the second season. But yeah, I definitely need to get on this. And it's Friday night, so I will be reading this weekend. My goal is to finish this Saturday sometime. And I mean, if I could finish it earlier, like if I could finish it tonight, that would be awesome. I just don't know if that's gonna happen. I have dog-eared a couple of things and highlighted a couple of things just to like remind myself, like some notes and stuff, things that I remember, but like I actually came across them in the text, like right here on page 41 at the bottom right here, where it says 3 times a year scythes meet at a great assembly called a conclave. We discuss the business of gleaning and whether or not more scythes are needed in our region. When a new scythe is required, a gem is placed into a gold setting and is bestowed upon the chosen candidate. I just returned from winter conclave and I have been given this ring so that I might take on an apprentice, and he's chosen 2 people to apprentice. So I have chosen both of you. You will both learn the trade, but in the end, only one of you will receive the ring. The other may return home to his or her old life. And then, let's see, on page, 47, it kind of has these little like inserted things like from the Gleaning Journal of H.S. Curry. When a scythe's numbers become lopsided, they are disciplined by the high blade and are assigned their gleanings for the next year rather than being allowed to choose for themselves. It's a sign of shame. And I know things that happen later on in the series. So also, oh yeah, I don't remember the verse from the first time I read it. On page 49, Citra was given an armband to identify her as a scythe's apprentice. Rowan had one too. So bright green bands bearing the curved blade of a farmer's scythe above an unblinking eye, the double symbol of the scythehood. That symbol would become a tattoo on the arm of the chosen apprentice. Not that anyone would ever see the tattoo, for scythes are never seen in public without their robes. So I kind of forgot that they wear these like armbands and then they get this tattoo. So yeah, so those are things that I've like highlighted. And I don't have like little post-its, or I do have little post-its. I don't have like little flags. So I'm just going to use these little post-its. I was trying to get this one because I've used a lot of these. It's like a thinner stack. Good morning, friends. It's Saturday morning. It is February 1st. And I have a reading update. So I did read last night. I am currently on page, why do the pages I read never have page numbers? 162, which is great. I still have a ways to go though. Right now I'm getting ready to go out to Walgreens and pick up a whole bunch of like beauty stuff that I need, and then we're gonna go to Bed Bath & Beyond and pick up my husband a heater blanket like mine. And I don't really have any plans after that, so probably just come home and read. I already have laundry. I already did one load. The next load is drying, so that will be done with laundry. I already loaded the dishwasher and ran the dishwasher. I already cleaned out the fridge, so I'm like doing this adulting thing pretty well today. Hey friends, I'm here with an update. Not a very exciting one, but I continue to read Scythe. I'm 65% through. My dog's outside, obviously. I'm on page 279. So I have quite a bit still to go, like well over 100 pages for sure. They just went to the second conclave of the year. I think this is the autumn one. I don't really remember. Harvest conclave. So this is the first time our 2 scythe apprentices are seeing each other since they were split up. So interesting. Yeah, I just have been distracted. I did take a nap. I read like a little bit and then I took a nap, and then when I woke up from my nap I read a little bit, but then I got sucked into the Netflix documentary series Cheer. I think I'm on like the 3rd or 4th episode. when I finish the current episode that I'm watching, I'm gonna jump back in and make it as far as I can into this, because ideally I wanted to finish this today. I just don't know if it's gonna happen. Good morning, friends. It is Sunday, February 2nd, which means it's Groundhog's Day and Super Bowl Sunday, and Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow, which means spring is coming early, and I am feeling it because I cannot take any more cold days. I'm ready to get into shorts, so the faster it gets warmer, the faster I can make that happen. Also, I have a book update for you. I just woke up. That's why I look like this. But I did just make my first cup of coffee. I haven't even had a sip yet. Okay, first update. Guys, I did it. I finished Scythe by Neil Shusterman last night. I guess it was about like, I don't know, it was fairly early, I feel like. It wasn't like too late. Around like 8 or 9, something like that. I want to say like 8:30. But yeah, I finished this. I loved this. I remembered the ending of this like so clearly. But there was a lot in the middle that I didn't remember from my first read through. So I am really glad that I reread it. The bigger things, yeah, like the showdown at the Tonist monastery, I don't know what to call it. I remember that. And I don't know, this book and trilogy so far, because I've read Thunderhead before, is so good and so much happens and it never feels dull to me. Like you're always learning something. I do like how there's like chapters and then there's these journal entries from different scythes, because they're required to keep a daily journal of their gleanings and stuff like that. I like that I was reminded of the rules and the scythe commandments, I'll say, for lack of a better word, and no law beyond these. So these are the scythe commandments. Yeah, that's what they call them. So I like that I was reminded of them, and I like that I got to re-know the 2 apprentice scythes, and yeah, it was just, overall it was a really good time. And again, I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. So well deserved. It's like complex storytelling, yet you can read it and digest it so easily. So really loved it, 5 out of 5 stars. And then I moved on to Thunderhead, of course. I'm only on page 52, and this, okay, so you could see just by the size that this is a little bit longer than Scythe, and it's about 100 pages extra. This one was 435, and this one is, I think the end of the actual story is 504. But then there's the Thunderhead author commentary, which I also think is pretty cool. Hello, friends. It is Monday afternoon. I just walked in the door from work, and I'm about to chow down on some Funyuns, but I wanted to update you on my reading. So it is February 3rd, and I am currently reading Thunderhead, of course, the second book in the Arc of a Scythe series. This is the second time I am reading this book, so it's a reread. I'm currently on page 167, so about that far. It's over a 500-page book, so I have quite a ways to go. I could have made like a bigger dent yesterday, but I spent the day binging Cheer on Netflix. I used to be a cheerleader, so I like that sort of thing. And I think a lot of people are obsessed with it. So I watched Cheer. I watched a lot of YouTube. But I also did a lot of adulting stuff. So I had to go to the grocery store. I filmed my January wrap up, edited it, posted it. It should be live tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. it was the Super Bowl. What did my husband and I do? Oh, we went grocery shopping. Yeah, so it was kind of like I was adulting. So then when I finally got around to reading, I didn't really read until much later in the day. Like I didn't read until like maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And then the Super Bowl was on, so I was kind of distracted. And then after that, I was just exhausted. So yeah, so I'm on 167, making my way through. But I'm gonna be reading some today, obviously. I'm hoping to like check what's it called, BookTube, eat some Funyuns, and just relax and chill and then read. So good morning, friends. It is Tuesday, and before I jump in and eat my breakfast and have my coffee, I thought I would offer an update on Thunderhead. I did read last night. Again, not as much as I wanted, but I did make a good chunk, I think. I don't remember where I was yesterday. But I read after I talked to you guys, and then I fell asleep for a while, and then I woke up and did the dinner thing, watched a couple of TV shows, and then I went to bed fairly early and read for a little while. So, and I'm currently on page, this is one of those ones that don't have page numbers. Okay, that's 280, so 279. 278, so right here. I feel like I'm at like the halfway point now, so that's good. So much has happened. I only have like one little tab right here, and this is basically, okay, so the first book really follows the training of the two Scythe apprentices and kind of their journey into Scythedom. And this book is following, as it is named, it's really kind of the Thunderhead story. The Thunderhead is this AI, kind of has its eyes on everything throughout the world, and it has been able to fix all of Earth's problems: overpopulation, starvation, poverty, kind of all of these things, and it keeps everything in these checks and balances. And it can have no communication with scythes, and scythes can have no communication with it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't see what's going on. And there's barely any blind spots for the Thunderhead, so a lot of those little inserted, like before every chapter, we're getting, instead of like journal entries from scythes, we're getting little snippets from the Thunderhead. And one of the great things about this society, we'll say, is that we have solved the problem of death. Everybody lives, and that's why we have scythes, to kill off people, to keep the population in check. And then I wanted to just tell you something that the Scythe said here. And he said, currently there are 12,187 scythes in the world, each gleaning 5 people per week. So they have like a quota that they have to meet, and it equals out to that. However, in order to bring about zero population growth once humanity reaches the saturation point, it would require 394,429 scythes, each gleaning 100 people per day. So I guess because there's like a lack of disease, a lack of, oh, and also they can reset themselves. So I think you can reset back to 21. So anytime after 21, you can just reset back. And it's kind of crazy because of that reason, people have these gigantic families, many wives, many children, and the population is just getting like overrun. It's getting saturated. So right now it's fine, he's saying. And there's enough resources, there's enough like places, but very shortly there will not be. And that's how like big of a difference it is. I just thought that was crazy. So anyway, that's the update. And today is my short day at work. I get off at noon, but I go to the gym, so I usually don't get home until like around like 2:30. It just depends, but I'm gonna eat my breakfast, then work, then the gym, then home, then read. I just got back from the gym. That's why I have my hair like this. It's so messy and I don't even care. Yeah. It was a workout and I'm exhausted. Two things. I just walked in the door. I went and got a massive salad. It has salad mix. It has chickpeas, edamame, mushrooms, cucumbers, celery, cauliflower, broccoli. I'm gonna eat that and watch This Is Us. But I just got a birthday present for my dad. He sends these pop-up cards for holidays. So I got one for Christmas. And then look. Happy birthday. And then in the bottom here, there is a gift card. So my dad sent me a gift card to Amazon for my birthday. That was so sweet. I have no idea what I'm gonna get, because I don't think I'm gonna get books. Maybe I should save it. I'm thinking I'm gonna try not to buy books until the summer, you guys. Friends, I'm here with a quick reading update. It is 7:22 p.m. and I told you guys I would update you, so that's what I'm here to do. Still reading Thunderhead, but I did make some good progress. I am currently on page 435, so I have about 70 pages to go, I think. Original story in here goes to 504 right here, but then there's author commentary from page 505 to 536, and it all looks like interesting stuff, and I don't actually know if I read it the first time that I originally read the book, but so that much of the book is at the end, so I only have to go to 504 and I'm at 435, so about 70 pages. Good morning, friends. It's Wednesday, and I just wanted to update you that I did finish Thunderhead last night. It was great that my husband went out with his friends, because it just gave me a chance to like not be distracted by social media, watching videos, watching TV, playing video games, anything. I literally just sat down and read for like 2.5 hours, like a little breaks in between to like get snacks, go to the bathroom, take my dog out, play with her, things like that. So not like a solid 2.5 hours, but a pretty much solid 2.5 hours that I was able to finish this. Yeah, and it did have that commentary at the end that I was telling you about that's not part of the story, but it kind of just breaks it down and gives you like the inside scoop behind like the chapter title names, some of the stuff that the what's his name, author was thinking, and how he tried to connect certain things and kind of, you know, stuff like that. So like the Scrawny with Potential, it says this chapter in an earlier form was originally the epilogue of Scythe, before my editor and I agreed that it was too much of a teaser and gave too much away. So yeah, that was really cool to find out. There were definitely like some cool little things to find out. Oh, also, I think he said it in the beginning. Basically he said something like, he introduced, well, not really a new character, but the book started from a different viewpoint than you really thought it was going to, and he did that for readers that were possibly just picking up this book and they hadn't read Scythe, but also to like get the readers that have read Scythe kind of like back into the story and stuff like that. So I thought that was a really smart decision, but stuff like that. I didn't read all of them because I was ready to move on to The Toll, which is the third and final book in the trilogy. 625 pages. So it is a tome for sure. I don't know if you could see what's embossed on the front or not. You kind of can. But anyway, I read to page 28, possibly 29. But I just wanted to read you a little thing in here about, so the thing is that there's different places, obviously, like around the world, everything is not handled the same. And in certain regions, charter regions, the Thunderhead employs different social structures to better the human experience. And okay, so let me just read this. Okay, Jericho from Madagascar, one of the world's 7 charter regions where the Thunderhead employed different social structures to better the human experience, and people flocked to Madagascar because of the popular uniqueness of its mandate. All children in Madagascar are raised genderless, forbidden to choose a gender until reaching adulthood. Even then, many didn't choose a single state of being. Some, like Jericho, found fluidity to be their nature. Whoa! I loved it so much. So I did highlight that little bit right here and I tagged it because how crazy would that be? I just, you know, I'm a teacher, so I teach 5-year-olds, and to think about them all being genderless, they're just all people. I think that that would be so cool, you know? I don't know. It's just, there's so much to think about with that one little package. I just, yeah, my mind is kind of blown. Anyway, so considering I've already started this and it's only Wednesday, I could probably finish this over the next couple of days, I think, if I have some really good uninterrupted reading time. Okay, I also forgot to tell you guys I rated Thunderhead 5 out of 5 stars. The first time I read it, I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. The second time, this reread, I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. So much happens in these stories. Good morning, friends. It's Thursday. I'm here with a quick reading update of The Toll. I am currently on page 106, which is only 16% through, so I'm slowly making my way through it. I didn't read as much as I wanted to last night, but hopefully today I can make a dent. Good morning, friends. It is Friday morning, and I'm just gonna update you on what I've read so far in The Toll. I am currently on page 202, so I read about 10% more yesterday. But I'm definitely not making it through this as fast as I did the other 2 books, I feel like. Yeah. So I have quite a bit still to read, so I don't know when this vlog is going to go up. But I'm not pressuring myself, or I'm doing my best not to pressure myself, I should say. This one is very different than the other 2 books because there's a lot to wrap up. The first book, we're following 2 apprentice scythes on their journey to scythedom, where only one of them can actually become a scythe. And the second one, we're following the scythe that made it to scythedom and what happened with the other person, and kind of like forging ahead in, like, here's where the state of things are now type thing, and the repercussions of things that happened in the first one and stuff like that. In this one, I feel like we're getting multiple timelines, but it's not like explicitly said that it's a new timeline. I'm kind of just still figuring things out. But there are these little conversations back and forth that I'm not like 100% sure who they're back and forth between. I think one is the Thunderhead. I have no idea who the other one is, but it's these type of little things. And then at the bottom it says iteration number whatever deleted. He is kind of like, look at this chapter, it's like indented. Flip over here. It's just kind of like that back and forth all the way. And then we also get course, definitions, and oh, here's one of those iterations, and we get these little things. Oh, and then we're getting emails. So the writing is very different than the first two books because we're getting a whole bunch of different types of media and interjections into the story. And I don't know how those interjections flow and meet up with the main storyline. And we're following, the majority of the story so far has been from people that we have not followed before, so that's different. And I don't know, it's just different. Good morning, friends. It's Saturday morning and it's only 8:02 in the morning. I just woke up and I wanted to give you a reading update. So I made it to about the halfway point. I'm not really sure if it's exactly half. I guess I could log it into Goodreads and see. %. Yay! So I made it over the halfway hump, which is great. So I'm on page 320 and I just moved on to part 3. And this book, other books, you understood the timeline a lot better. This is a huge timeline jump around for me, and that's what's making it very hard to be in the story, because there's several different stories taking place within this and you don't know if it's all, or I don't feel like it's all in the same timeline, or maybe there's just this huge passing of time. And I think that's what I'm not vibing with. In the first book, I've explained this a million times, you're following the two apprentices to the very last conclave of the year. One of them is chosen as a scythe because he can only have one. Scythe Faraday can only have like one apprentice, like become a scythe. And then you kind of follow shortly after that and see the results of that decision and what happened to the other person and stuff like that. And then at the end of that book, something crazy happens. And I mean, crazy things happen throughout these books, so it's not like, oh my gosh, twisted ending. It's not like that. It's just something crazy happens. So then when you pick up the third book, and I mean, I didn't even know where it was going to start, but where it started was kind of interesting. And then I guess there had been a large passing of time before this book, between the second book and this book. And I almost wish it wasn't, but like I understand that there was. So I guess like a couple years have passed between the second book and this book. And they don't go by years like, you know, 2020, 1999, whatever. They go by these animals. And so I finally feel like I understood that. I think the last one we were in book 2, or I think it was in the first book, it was Year of the Raptor. I almost need to like go back, but Year of the Raptor, and then it was Year of the Ibex, which we've had in this book, and then the Year of the whatever, and now they're in a new year, Year of the Cobra. So it's just so confusing. Hey guys, it's a little bit later. It's still Saturday. It is almost noon. It's 11:57 and I have made some reading progress, and I kind of in my mind have made it a low-key goal to finish this book today, which is insane. I did, before I did anything else, I like got my coffee, sat on the chaise, and I read up until I was at 3:20. I'm currently on 4:06, so I'm 65% in now. And then I've taken a long break. I took a shower, What else did I do? Oh, I started a new, or I'm starting a new like collection spread in my bullet journal. It's going to be for all the Netflix movies and shows that I've been watching. I will try to look up some stuff about the Scythe, Arc of a Scythe series, because I'm kind of compiling my notes for my review that I plan on doing. And I was trying to figure out like the timeline in the Toll. So I know Scythe, even though it's not like given a year, it's set in 2042. And the Toll, then, so it's Scythe, Thunderhead, then the Toll, and Toll is 3 years after the end of Thunderhead. So, like I was saying, the timeline has left me disoriented, which made it hard to get into the third book, and the calendar system, of course, like I said, doesn't help. So yeah, I did a little bit of research on that. I had breakfast. Did I say I took a shower? Yeah, I took a shower, got dressed. I cleaned my bathroom sink because like the pipe itself was like, I don't even know what was wrong with it. It was just so dirty to me and I had to clean it out. I tried to take care of this pimple. That didn't really work. Guys, my face is terrible lately. And then I got my husband to take out all of the stuff under our kitchen sink. It was just a disaster in there. So I had to like wash some dishes, ran the dishwasher, cleaned off like the counter, put a towel on it. He took everything out. I vacuumed it all under there, and then I organized everything, got rid of some stuff, took out the recycling, took out the trash. Yeah, I've just been doing like the adulting thing. So, yeah, I think I have had enough of a like break and have gotten some things done. My husband is getting the trimmers, hedgers, pruners, whatever they're called, like long ones. We're going to do some pruning on our rose bushes because they're already starting to bud, and I don't want to wait until it's too far, like, you know, in the season before I prune them. So, yeah, you're supposed to prune them before the actual new season, and I have kind of already missed that window, but it's not like too far into it, so hopefully. But yeah, so we're gonna do some pruning. Hopefully he'll do the pruning and I can just like tell him how much or stuff like that, because I kind of know a little bit more about that. But anyway, so yeah, so he's gonna do that, and then I have decided to let go of 2 of my plants because I don't like the shape that my bird's nest fern is in, and I don't think I can really come back to a place that I would enjoy it. So I think I'm gonna get rid of that. And this little cactus guy that I have, he died over the winter, so I need to get rid of him. And just like that, I finished the Toll. Good morning, friends. It is Sunday. Let's see, it is February 9th, which is great because yesterday I finished the Toll. Yes, it is the Toll. So I finished the Toll, the 3rd book in the Arc of a Scythe series by Neil Shusterman, and I really enjoyed it. The latter half of the book was very heart pumping. A lot of things were happening. It was high action, high energy. I'm rating this one 4 out of 5 stars. The first 2 books, Scythe was 5 stars, Thunderhead was 5 stars. This one I'm rating 4 out of 5 stars just because, like I said, it takes place 3 years after the events of Thunderhead, and because of their calendar system in this series, it made it very confusing when things were happening. I also thought in the 1st and 2nd book it did a really good job of like introducing characters, and they remained like a really big part of the series. But in this book, I think we meet so many, we go to so many different places, like so many different countries and places, and we also get just like so many new characters that are important to the series in different ways. And I just thought that it was like too many characters, too many places, plus the calendar system was confusing, so it made it hard to just like dive right in. And I think like the 1st or the 2nd book, the 1st book obviously you need to read all of them because they're all amazing, but like I feel like you could dive into the second book without reading the first book. This one, I think you will be totally confused because it's just written differently than any of the other ones. Overall, really great conclusion, and yeah, I kind of wish there was more, but at the same time, like, I get it why there's not. Yeah, really cool concept, unique story idea, loved it. Look out for my review of the entire trilogy, which will be spoiler free to the best of my knowledge. I kind of like wrote down some notes this morning. I think I'm gonna film that later today. We shall see, but I definitely want to wrap up this vlog and thank you guys so much for joining me for another trilogy reading vlog. Let me know if you like these. I have a couple other in mind, but I probably won't do one for a while because I'm ready to jump into like some standalone books. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you're all having a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys again in my next video.